Welcome to Those Guys Sports. It is your boy Mike, and this is our second edition, second episode of NBA Weekly with myself and my boy YS. You, like I said, you guys can call him Scully. How are you today, my brother?
Man, everything is all good over here, man. How about you?
I'm good. I'm glad that we are like 2, 3 games into the NBA season. I'm liking some things I'm seeing. Like I'm not liking some things I'm seeing. So I'm glad that we're here to talk about it as well. So in today's episode, what we're gonna hopefully bring up is what we like, what we dislike, talk about some players. Of course, as people from Toronto, we must bring up the Raptors. So we're gonna have a little Raptors corner as well. I think I have a few things
Yeah.
to say that I'm gonna pardon my pun, but it's gonna be very spicy because I have some things to talk about Mr. Spicy P. Not really about him, but more about the organization. But that's what we're gonna get into today. But first, I thought I was going to talk about rest. I didn't even tell you about it yet. I was going to talk about rest, but cause I thought Joel Embiid wasn't going to play today, so I wanted to talk about rest. But then I seen that he's playing today. There's a few games going on, so it could be something that we say today that the games are going on and we're gonna miss it or we're gonna be wrong because I have some AD thought, but AD may score 50 points today. But that's what
No,
podcasts are. It's a weekly thing. He's not gonna score 50. Check
no.
check the betting lines. That guy's not scoring. If he scores 50, I'm pretty sure someone's making 50. Someone's making 50 if he's scoring 50. But yeah, so with this week, Skull, tell me what you thought about this week. How was the NBA for you this week?
The NBA was, to be honest, the first week is always unexpected, up and down. You don't know what to expect. Teams are getting back into rhythm. Players are getting back to the rhythm. Some players really didn't touch the rock that much in the off season, right?
Mhm.
So it's up and down. This is expected. Like no team, there's no clear cut great team right now. Like obviously you have your favorites, right? But there's no team 10-0 right now. They're gonna play 2, 3 games. So it's sample size, but I love what I'm seeing right now. It's real entertaining right now. Can't even lie.
Right.
Right.
And I think you're right. It's so early in the season. It all
Yeah.
depends on like when you played. Like the
Yeah.
Raptors played it back to back. There's teams like Milwaukee that have had a bunch of days off. Like I was looking at the Raptors schedule. I'm already talking about the Raptors, but I was looking at the Raptors schedule and I seen that they had a back to back with Chicago and then Philly this week. Then this coming week, they face they face someone on Wednesday. I forgot which
They
team.
lost a heartbreaker in Chicago. Sorry to cut you
Heartbreaker,
off, man.
heartbreaker in
Heartbreaker,
Chicago.
man. Man.
Which like even speaking on it in the one in Chicago, at the end of the next day they have those reports about what happened in case they missed anything. They had 4 misses. One was that DeMar DeRozan traveled in that foul that he got.
Yep,
He
yep.
traveled. Pascal got hit and he was fouled as well, but they didn't call it. So there's a bunch of missed calls that all went against the Raptors. So it's kind of like you did all that just to like what's the point? Like
Shout
sometimes
out
I
to the
feel
refs. Shout out to the
yeah,
refs.
like the Raptors sometimes they be cheesing. Yeah, it's like the Raptors, they played Wednesday. They play this coming Wednesday. Then on
Yeah,
Thursday, they play a back-to-back again with Philly. Philly's playing today, and I think Philly may have, I think the next game is against Toronto, or they have one
serious.
game maybe on Tuesday, and the next game is Toronto again. So Toronto's facing Philly 2 times this week on a
Yeah.
back-to-back. How's that fair? Like, where's the scheduling odds like for that? But
Let's hope it gets easier. The schedule gets easier throughout the season, towards the end of the season, right? Let's hope. We can hope.
right, so then that's what, like you said, it's way too early to
Yeah.
talk about the things that are good because everyone's so different and the way the squads are moving. I got the reason why I have these guys behind me, not because they won a title. So one of the things I liked that I gotta mention is how good Denver looks. Denver
Yes.
had a game today. Today's Sunday. Denver had a game today. And in that
Against
game,
a decent Oklahoma City Thunder squad with some great young
you
talent.
you know that team, that's my team. That's my team
Yeah.
of like I believe in that team. I believe in that team.
Yeah.
And they beat them by like I think 25, 35. I think it's 25 they beat him by, right? Like, which is crazy. And so when we talk about any team that's like really good, it's this team. They beat him by 33.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
team is good. This Denver
Still have
team,
their four core players, right? They still have Porter Jr., they still have Joker, they still have Murray, Caldwell Pope, Aaron Gordon. They still got that's their five. They still got their five core players.
right? And their
You got
bench
Reggie
isn't
Jackson come
bad,
off the bench, which is a good addition. Like these guys, this is a good team. This is a good team top to bottom.
right?
Well coached.
And that's what makes this team so equipped to run it back and get another title.
I agree.
We both agree that this team will probably be second in the West because at
Yeah,
one point I do think they're going to chill a little bit. They're
they
really going to
have
have to
to.
depend on their bench. Like their bench is really going to have to carry them throughout the season. But
I like Bones. I like Bones on their bench before, right? That guy is shout
he
out to
was,
Bones. By the way.
yeah. But the thing is with Bones, they left him because he had a bad attitude. That's what they
Oh,
said,
really?
right? Yeah, because he had a bad. I think him and the coach. He, Bones. If anyone, this is just, this episode too. My lighting keeps going back in and out, but it's all good. Like if anyone watches when they start getting to know this, young Scully, this guy, he loves loves the shooters, right? Loves the shooters. That's why I think it's funny the type of players we are. We'll probably talk about it in future episodes if we had to mold a player, the type of player that we would kind of want. But kind of to give anyone a snippet of like our 100th episode, so to speak, you know, Scully likes the player that can get the basket. He can get a basket any which way. And that's the type of player he likes. Me, I like that player too, but I like that defensive player, that kind of Dwayne Wade mold type of player. That's why every time I may like a player, they're gonna fall into that line where Scully's gonna fall into that Bones Highland, Tyrese Maxey type of line. So that's where if
Yeah,
anyone
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
sees it,
yeah. I
that's
like
where
those
we kind
guys.
of
I like those guys. Yeah,
that's where we kind of fit.
those
Um,
guys can play, man. Those guys can play. They can get a bucket, man. Yeah.
they give
Maxi
good
had
games.
a big game this week too.
Who?
I think he had 30. Maxi off
Yeah,
the bench. He
and
had
see
over
that's
30 off the bench.
my most improved player, right? Like that's like he's
Your pick's looking good. It's looking
see.
good, man.
I'm glad you brought him up because I was really thinking about it as I was driving home. I'm thinking like the new shooting guard, and you tell me what you think. The new shooting guard is so different nowadays. There's no more of the Dwayne Wades, the Kobe's, the Michael Jordans, that really good defender who can, honestly have really good post moves, can hit a really nice open jumper, can hit a
Yeah,
jumper just in general. I don't think
yeah,
there's that new shoot. I think the new shooting guard is more like the Maxis, the Heroes, the
yeah.
Bones Highlands, who are just like microwave scores, right? The ones you just give them the ball,
Clarkson,
they'll
Jordan
do
Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson. I feel like
Yeah,
that's the new age, right?
yeah.
Because when we look at the best shooting guards, if I'm being honest, I think the shooting guard list has kind of fallen off from past years, right? We had like Brandon Roy, we had D Wade,
Oh,
we had
man.
guys back in the day that used to like I think
Brandon Roy could ball, man.
that man deserves like a 30 for 30. That man deserves like so much praise.
Ray Allen, if we're gonna go back, Ray Allen was a
Right,
top
right.
two guard.
Right. And so then I think that type of ball player has like we go what you would probably say Booker's probably the best shooting guard in the league. Let's say
Who's the best two guard that can defend in the league right now? The best two-way two guard in the league.
the best two-way two guard would have to be Jalen Brown then, because he can do both. Because
I
he
was
can
gonna say
do.
Jimmy Butler.
What would you call Jimmy, a two or a three? Because I think on in Miami he plays a three,
You're right.
right?
You're right.
Right.
He's
Because
6'7", 6. Yeah.
and that's what makes the league kind of weird nowadays, is because the positions have changed so much. I
Yeah.
swear Jimmy was a two. You're right. I swear the man was a
Yeah.
two when he
Yeah.
had Dang and Rose with him. I swear he was a two, but now he's considered a three. But
Okay.
yeah, like you go Booker, Mitchell, Brown, and then it's just like a bunch of guys who could just flamethrower.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right. Booker. I like that. Mitchell, Brown. They can play. You're right. I agree with that list. Actually, I agree
Right. So
with that
like
list.
nowadays we just have flamethrowers. So are you
Yeah.
seeing the same pattern that I'm thinking I'm seeing with the
I'm
way the
seeing
shooting
the
guards
same.
are?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. A lot of just get me a bucket any which way, and we don't really care about defense.
At all. That's why like I look at Tyrese Maxey and I'm not trying to be blasphemous. I'm really not. But I'm about to be. I'm about
Uh,
to be.
that's
You
my
know,
guy.
um is Tyrese Maxey like, and mind you, he's my most improved player, but is he like elite? Like, is he when I say elite, is he Paul George, like Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, elite shooting guard, or is he just a flamethrower that happens to start?
You know what? He'll get there. He'll get there, right? He's definitely improving,
Right,
and more minutes every season, right? He's
right.
improving it. With Harden being out, that's another topic we're gonna get to later on. But with Harden being out right now for whatever which reason, he's got time to shoot, man. He's got rain to shoot, right? He's got the green light, and he's playing with a lot of confidence. So he
And
had
that's
like
what he
7 threes the other night.
he
That's
did.
confidence.
And that's why, like, when he faced the Raptors, like you said, he was killing them. He was killing them. He was
Yeah, man.
killing them. So like I something like is he the new shooting guard? Like, am I just too old? Is my brain just too old thinking about the way I remember shooting guards? Because the way I remember shooting guards was not Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey to me is like, once again, this is where the blasphemous is gonna come. Suddenly reminds me of Lou Will, just a flamethrower. The Jordan Clarksons, like you mentioned,
Mm.
right?
I'd say Jordan Clarkson more, Lou Will, Maxi. We need to see more. We need to see more. That's my opinion.
Right. Yeah, that's true, right? So like, yeah, so that's where I would say with that. But we almost went on a tangent there, but like going back to even Denver, right? That Denver, I
Shout
just
out.
think Denver is they're a team to watch out for. If the bench on Denver could match Jokic's energy, then honestly, this team is gonna repeat. How can it not? Jokic is playing like the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the best player? Who's the best player in the world to you right now?
The best player in the world to me right now is between three guys, I feel. It's between Joker, Giannis, and Luca right now.
See,
That's to be honest.
I really put like, because I know you just won. I really put Giannis as the best player, and then in my opinion, I'm like he's so dominant in what he does. But what I'm seeing Joker do, and it looks like he's doing it so like effortlessly, like
Yeah, man.
he's just passing the ball every which way, like
It's the IQ. He's not stat padding. Like when we would watch Westbrook in that revenge season,
right,
right? And you could tell Steven Adams let him get the rebound so he can get a little triple double, and he would, you know what I mean? With Joker, you don't feel that vibe. He's just playing the game, and he's playing it. It looks effortless, right?
right. So that's why I think it looks, yeah, it just looks different. So with I'm probably like, okay, is he the best player in the world? Like, it's not a big deal who's the best player. It's him or Giannis. We can say it's basically
Yeah.
one of those two guys. I agree with like Luca's definitely. I saw that. You saw that bank shot Luca did.
Who hasn't seen that shot? It's everywhere, right? Jeez.
Luca, he
Yeah.
he's the most like clutch guy in the fourth quarter,
Yeah. He's
right? Like
balling.
he just I don't know how that guy I don't really see this guy miss in the fourth quarter. I really don't see it. I know it happens, but he had Kyrie Irving, who hit one of the most clutch shots of all time in NBA
Yeah.
history
And
there. And
yeah,
he said, I'm going to ball hog, not passing the ball. This is straight ISO for 3 straight
yeah,
possessions. Boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. That guy's
But for Luca doing that, Luca's shooting not a bad percentage for taking all the shots he's taking. He's
I
shooting
know.
close to 50% in general
That's
from
crazy.
last season. So and he's getting double teamed. He's getting all types of wing defenders thrown at him, and he's still producing. You know what I mean? Dallas just needs one more piece for them to really be a contender, I feel. Right?
I agree. I think if they had like some sort of like a really strong wing. Honestly, I mentioned this guy like in the past, like you made my other videos. Paul George
Okay.
would almost be a guy who just fits everywhere. He just fits
Yeah,
everywhere. So
you're
I
right.
think if Dallas had a Paul George with a Kyrie and with a Luca, I think sky's the
With a
limit.
Kyrie, I don't know.
You don't
Like,
think Luca and Kyrie match?
I don't think Luca and Kyrie match. I think Luca and PG and another like other pieces around them would be better off than Luca and Kyrie and PG. I feel that's my opinion, right?
Yeah. No, that's I can see that. Just because of style of play and the
Yeah,
feel of the game. Kyrie's really playing off ball with Luca and watching this guy, go to work and just like do your thing. But I do think the way Luca plays, I don't
Mhm.
think that's gonna win a title. I
No,
don't think so.
we know that. We know it's
Yeah,
entertaining to watch,
very
right?
entertaining.
As a Dallas Maverick fan, which I'm not, but I'm just saying in general, as a Dallas Maverick fan going to the games in Texas, like, okay, this is better than going to Spurs games. Actually, I shouldn't say that because Wemby over there is he's
Yeah,
something to see.
we're about to talk about
Wemby's something
Wemby
to see.
soon. We're about to talk
Wemby's
about
something to
Wemby
see.
soon. Yeah. So the last thing I say I liked, and it's more of a player I like, Jalen Duran from the Detroit Pistons. He's had like double doubles his all 3 games. He's probably not going to win Most Improved this year, but he's almost an early candidate next year to win Most Improved. If
Already,
he
yeah.
can expand his offensive game to do multiple things, I think he could be a Most Improved candidate. But I wanted to give a big shout out to Jalen Duran from the Detroit Pistons because that's a good team.
Shout out to the Pistons.
As
Shout
we're
out to the Thompson twins. Shout
hey,
out.
hey, those guys are good, man. Those guys are really good. As we're talking about this, and it almost leads into our next segment, which is what we don't like or what we have not liked the past 2, 3 games in the NBA season. I just wanted to mention, like I said, we're filming this at nighttime, so a bunch of games are going down. But the Atlanta Hawks beat the Milwaukee Bucks. It kind of
Really?
almost goes
Wow.
back to what I like. I like that sometimes you never know what's gonna happen.
Of course. Of
I like
course.
that. It makes it interesting, more different. But I would Damian Lillard. Please tell me what you think about this. Dame was 2 of 12 and 2 of 8 shooting the three for only 6 points.
Wow. Well, how I feel about that is like what you said, going back to what you said, none's predictable. And could that be DeJounte Murray defense?
It looks like it would have to be. There was no Chris Middleton though, but Chris Middleton played like 16 games last game, so it doesn't really. I mean, 16 minutes doesn't really mean much.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
much. I didn't see that game, so I can't really tell you exactly what I was seeing go down, right? So
right.
how much did
Um,
Trey Young have that game? Did he go off? Did Murray go off? Did Hunter go
no
off?
one really went off. Murray had 20,
What about Bogdanovich? He didn't,
so he had 17, and he's coming off the bench.
and he's
So
quality. That's a quality guy.
so if he got 17, it's not an only 17. That's a quality 17 off the bench.
Yeah, yeah.
Very quality 17 off the bench. One guy, we didn't think of when it came. There's like 2 guys. There's someone I'm forgetting, but one guy we never thought of, who for 6 man of the year is Kelly Oubre. So,
Oh man,
and that's a
yeah.
player I think we both like. A guy off the bench, a type
Yeah,
of guy that I really wanted the Raptors to kind of go after.
me
This man
too.
is giving them 20 points a game off the bench. He averaged 20 points last year. People don't know that. This man averaged 20 points
He
last
averaged
year.
20, huh?
He averaged
He
20.
can ball though. He can ball. He's got a nice little Jimmy. You know, I like the lefties and his
Right,
defense. He matches the intensity. He'll give you that intensity. He doesn't
right.
back. I like Oubre. I
Yeah,
like Oubre
Uber's
still.
a good player. So like we
Yeah.
didn't we didn't mention him before, but it's good. Chris Paul tonight he's coming off the bench for the first time ever.
What is it? Year 16, 17 for him?
I think it's year 19. Yeah, yeah,
19.
yeah. He's 06 draft. 06.
Really? Yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah,
oh
so the
six.
18 and yeah, yeah. So he's coming off the bench.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
yes,
That's
because
not that
Draymond's
in.
back.
Draymond's back. Okay. Well,
So
see, and I figured he'd have to come off the bench because Draymond and him, and then in the same line, no, I don't see that work.
I thought because Chris Paul, I thought they were gonna start him because like Chris
No,
Paul coming off the bench, like I would have never. I agree, he should come off the bench.
me
It,
too.
it makes the team much better if he comes off the
Me,
bench,
me
right?
too.
Because you
He
still have
can
your
mentor the
superstars
young
on the bench,
guys, right? He can mentor that young lineup, the Moody, the
right?
Kamika, right?
Yeah, it makes him better. He's
Gary
still
Payton
the
the
vet.
second. Yeah,
Yeah, he is still the vet. And yes, because now their bench, like you said, their bench is really Chris Paul and a bunch of young guys.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's Chris Paul has 7 assists. He still led the team in assists this game, coming off the bench.
That's pretty good. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
where do you think this is now? I didn't. I'm just a new topic. Where do you think Chris Paul coming off the bench now puts the Golden State Warriors?
To be honest, it puts them in a more dangerous position, I feel. You know what I mean? Because I like that with Paul coming off the bench. I like Moody, Paul, and Kaminga off the bench. That's a pretty legit bench squad. I
Yeah.
can't even lie. You got athleticism, you got defense. Moody is a streaky shot maker. Kaminga's shot is a little shaky right now, right? But it's all good. But CP is going to get those guys the right looks in their right spots. Let's think about CP as a guard. He gets guys the right looks in their spot. So I feel that's going to be a huge improvement. And I hope he embraces the role coming off the bench. I hope he's not like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like other ex-star players in the past coming off the bench, right?
And there's been a bunch of star players that have come off the bench back in the day that didn't accept their role.
Yeah.
So hey, you're hoping that he does. So to get the things that we dislike, and I feel like I may have a few things to say.
Okay.
Um, so if I may, sir, say a couple. I wrote a couple things down. The Phoenix Suns. What I don't like is, I guess Devin Booker is hurt with a foot injury. I guess with Bradley Beal is hurt with a back injury, and Durant is playing. My thing is, they try to fix this load management thing. They tried to, and I thought it was potentially going to work. But for a second, I'm thinking, is the Phoenix Suns going to play two guys, have one guy off, play two guys, have one guy off? I thought maybe they were going to do something like that, but I don't know. I've always be the person I'd rather see them play. I hate the thought of these guys not playing. So I don't like the fact that the Phoenix Suns aren't playing. It's further proof that no matter their record, when they get to the playoffs, they're not going to have enough chemistry and they're going to lose. They're just not going to win games. And people are talking about it lately. I'm not sure if you've seen the highlights or not, but I'm hearing the chatter, I should say, about Kevin Durant slowing down. Have you potentially heard this chatter, or have you seen his game potentially slow down?
I can't say, like, it's so early in the season to
Exactly.
even say that, right? To say it's slowing down or whatnot. He is getting older, right? He has been coming off a few injuries, right? But to me, I have to see this after like 15 games to see if he's really not digressing. You know what I mean? I have to really see that. But for right now, I feel like he just could be just getting back into the rhythm, getting back to the motion. It's a new roster, right? So he's just getting familiar. That too, familiarity is a big thing, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. So the Sun is just. I'm hoping. I'm hoping to watch them all three play because I kind of do want to see it. Yeah, I do want to see it, but I'm not a fan of two guys off, one guy in, one guy. I'm not a fan of that. So that's one thing I hate. Now the
Mhm.
next thing is something that I've said to you multiple times about Mr. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. Once again, I'm about to say something crazy again. So I don't know. Who knows? Anthony Davis, the best version of Anthony Davis. I should say this. We all know he's a great player. We all know his talent is top 10. There's a
Yeah.
podcast that I've watched multiple times, and it's called Through the Wire. One of the
Oh,
guys said that the thought process of Anthony Davis is better than Anthony Davis, and I think that's actually 100% correct. What we think
I
of
like that
Anthony
quote.
Davis is not Anthony Davis.
I love that. That's a very good quote. That's a
It
very good
is.
quote.
The thought of him is this, like, which he is, an all NBA type player, top player. But I think the thought is that he's next to Jokic and Embiid. Let's be respectful to these guys. He's not. He's not.
No,
When he's on, his talent level is there. When he's on, he's a better defensive player than Jokic could ever be.
100.
Offensively, he has all the tools in the world.
To be better than Joker offensively and Embiid offensively,
Right.
but what?
He has all the talent, but we don't. He had the first game. He didn't score after the second half. The second game, he scores like 25 points. But you were facing like an undermanned Suns team. You clown Nurkic. No, I need you to go against Jokic again and clown Jokic.
Yeah,
Stop
there's
this, like, this blast. Stop that. No, play against the top center.
excusable. It's inexcusable to have 17 in the first half. Like you're gonna have a monster game, and he
Right.
finished the game with 17. And I don't even think he shot a free throw in the second half.
It's disrespectful. You're right. It's disrespectful. How dare you score 17 points a game and then on the second half do nothing?
0 for 6, no free throws.
Come
Wow.
on. We
Wow.
we we want, and the thing is, like some people think, and LeBron's like, oh, AD doesn't care, blah blah blah. The thing is, no one's really coming at AD. People just believe in his talent. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Exactly.
everyone's saying it out of respect. Everyone's saying it out of like AD is a good player. We just
Mhm.
you see it. AD can, you just said it. The man could be as great as a Jokic and Embiid. This guy was a top 75 player of all time. He was voted on. He shouldn't have been voted on. It should have
I
been Dwight
agree.
Howard. That's a whole other story. It should have been Dwight Howard. Could we forget
I
how
agree.
good Dwight Howard was?
I think that ring kind of pushed him over the top though with the Lakers, right?
Right, right.
That's
And then
what kind of really
people,
pushed him over the top.
and I think people just want to put him there. And everyone said that LeBron is giving him the reins. Is he taking it? A quick stat is that besides this game, when LeBron's on the court, the team is plus 60. When he's off the court, they're negative like 100 plus.
What?
That's crazy. It's crazy. So LeBron's in year 21.
In year 21. In year 21.
Come on. LeBron's in year 21. What are we doing? AD needs to be better. So that's why it almost leads to what I have to say. That whole thing has to lead to this. AD is honestly like, he on a championship team, I don't think he can lead a team in scoring.
No.
He can have a lot of points, but sometimes I think the best version of AD is a second or third scoring option. And we give me a second, like Chris Middleton's a second, third scoring option. Doesn't mean Chris Middleton can't score 30 points a game.
Which
It's
is true.
possible. Bradley Beal's the third option. He can still score 30.
But there's a difference between scoring 30 a game as a first option and a third option. Because if you're a third, you're not getting double teams.
You're not getting double teams.
You're not getting the defense homing in on you, like keying in on you. If you're a first option, it's like, okay, we got to force him to go left or force him to go right or force him to shoot from here and force him to his cold spots. You're also the option. They're not really concerned. Yeah, close out. Yeah, rotate, but the focus is not there on you. So
Right.
25 as a third option is different as 25 as the first option, right? It's way different.
It's way different. And then with AD, he's just, we just need to see, we keep asking to see more. I'm also thinking, Gilbert Arenas said this. One is like, people, when they talk about Anthony Davis, it's not a disrespect. Gilbert Arenas said, if Anthony Davis is gonna act like this, then we need to see, hey, I think the way Gilbert Arenas, he's like, hey, D'Angelo Russell, we need 18 points today. We need 20 points today.
Yeah,
Austin Reeves, we need 20 with, that's only how it can happen. LeBron, AD, and D'Angelo Russell all have to score 20 points a game. And then AD, just eight, like the version of AD we need to see is 18 points and like maybe, no, 18 points, 12 rebounds, and like what, 2 blocks, 3 blocks a game? We need a defensive anchor, AD.
Which is good. That's good. That's good. But is
Right?
that going to be consistent AD? We need the AD from New Orleans. That's what we need.
Oh, but AD is not coming. That guy was also like trying to do everything offensively. This why I was, the Lakers have to go for a score. They have to go for a score. They just have to,
But
because
who are they going to give up to get that score, right? Or do they have the bread?
I think eventually it's gonna be D'Angelo Russell, Rui, and they have to give up their draft pick. I told you, hey Chicago, what's up? How you doing? Yep, can we get DeMar? We're not asking for Zach because Zach will be too much. They can't give up too much for Zach. But we'll DeMar can get you for D'Angelo Russell and Rui at a draft pick. We can get DeMar DeRozan. So then DeMar is that first option offensively. LeBron is the second option offensively. And AD is the third option offensively, with Austin Reeves being your fourth option.
I like that.
Right? Because then you have options offensively.
And then Austin Reeves is going to play the one, I guess, the starting one.
Yeah, and then you still have LeBron James who can play.
Which is good. I like the length because Reeves is like 6'4", 6'5"-ish, right? You have DeRozan 6'6", 6'7", for example. Right. You have LeBron the 3, have 8. I like that's good size. I like that size.
If you trade Rui and D'Angelo, you can still go Austin Reeves, DeMar, LeBron, Vanderbilt, And then AD, your bench is still Tarion Prince, it's still Gabe
Yeah.
Vincent, it's still Christian Wood. Like you still got
I
like
like the bench. I like
right,
Gabe
you
and
still
Christian
got three
Wood.
guys,
That's a legit bench. Torian Prince plays with a lot of effort, a lot of
right?
hustle.
You
I
still
like
got the
that.
defense. You may not have the size because you're losing Rui, but at the end of the day, you still have a little bit more. So
You have some lanes still. You have some lanes still at the guard spot at least, which is to me one of the most important spots to have the lane still. The guard
right,
spots, the 1 and the 2.
right, and then that's where AD, I think AD will shine more. Like you said, he's gonna get double teams. He's gonna be open a lot more because you're not gonna leave DeMar. Unless you're telling DeMar to shoot threes, he'll just for some reason he doesn't. He will just touch the line and hit it because he's a two-point shooter. He'll just touch
It's
that
true.
line and hit the
It's
shot.
true. It's true.
So it's
Take one
weird, and
step and then you know what I mean?
that's just who. And then you're telling LeBron now you have DeMar DeRozan, so LeBron is now also chilling. And it'll make the team a lot better. So yeah, the one thing I could say I really didn't like was Anthony Davis. Is there anything you would say you didn't like this season?
This season so far, to be honest, I don't like how the media is painting James Harden because apparently his mother is very ill and he's with his mom's, right?
Mhm.
So, and the media is saying, oh, he's not showing up, da da da, but they're not showing the real reason. So that's what's kind of disappointing because Harden has this picture he's painted a certain way. And yeah, we all make mistakes, but you gotta come forward and tell the truth. You know what I mean? You can't he's regardless of his celebrity, he's a person too. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about that. Like just give the real story. Don't try to run headlines so you can get people to look at your stuff and whatnot. Just run the real story. It's sports, right? It's sports.
It's crazy you said that. So I was gonna talk about Daryl Morey because I agree with you. I think he's hurting him both ways. Daryl Morey is making the situation worse because just trade him. Just trade him. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is why he doesn't like you no more. Like you're making, yeah, I don't like what Harden's doing. It's his third team. I'm not sure if this guy's gonna get a contract. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
liking the whole Harden situation at all. I think it's kind of getting kind of messy now, right? But
Very.
Daryl Morey, stop. Like the more you're doing this, what do you think you're getting for this guy? You think you're
Yeah,
getting
exactly.
draft
His
picks?
value is going like
It's
this.
it's dying. So I don't know what you think you're getting from this, but you're not getting anything anymore. We're all looking at kind of like, but we want to talk about one man, something that's was both in our lives. It was like the guy that most people want to see. I heard that this opening viewership was very high for that certain radio and TV station, whatever. And it has to be Victor Wembanyama. We got to talk about King Vic, the,
King
the,
Vic.
the future of the NBA, some would say. What what was your first thoughts of Victor Wembanyama? What was your thoughts?
Man, this kid, because he's still a kid. He's still
Very
what,
much so.
19, 20, whatever. He's still a kid to me. This kid's got a great feel for the game. He's got intangibles. I see him getting to open spots. He runs the floor, right? He just has so much upside, right? He's has moves in the mid range that you'll see from DeRozan, right? But then he also has post moves that you'll see from, lack of better terms, AD,
Right.
right? He has the defensive tools as like an AD, right? And all offensive tools as a KD and other guards and other bigs in one. I love what I'm seeing. It's just as all rookies, as all bigs, right? Foul trouble is gonna be his biggest Achilles heel this season. But I love what I'm seeing. What about you?
When it comes to Wemby, first of all, I'm glad he's playing. Like I'm glad he's playing. I feel like we've been the opposite of when these people say spoiled, they say it in a good way. This is like actually spoiled, like rotten, okay? Like bad. We've had people like Ben Simmons who didn't play their first year. Joel Embiid didn't play his first 2 years.
Yeah,
Zion played a little bit of games. He played like 30 games his first year.
yeah.
We didn't get to see certain players play. And I think that's where it kind of sucked because you want to see your first year player play. That's like even Kate Cunningham didn't play the first beginning of his rookie season, right? That's one of the reasons why some would say Scotty won. Um, so yeah, like I'm glad that Wemby's playing. That's one, first and foremost. You're right. The foul trouble could potentially be there with him. He's so long that and he defense is still so it's so easy. Look at Jaren Jackson Jr., one of the best defensive players in the league. That guy gets foul trouble like consistently.
He does. He
So,
does. He's going after it, right? That's why he's going after it. That's what you want at the same time too.
right. So like when it comes to Victor, I his offensive skill set. When this guy gets like he's 19, he's 19,
Yeah.
he's
He's
young.
a kid. He's a
So
kid.
you just imagine his learning is going to be exponential with
Yeah.
Pop there, with all the whole Spurs organization. He's not going to no club in San
He,
Antonio,
he doesn't seem like that type of guy though, right? He seems a
right?
humble guy. I don't see him in the bust down jewelry, all that stuff, designer, all that stuff. He just seems like I'm here to
Yeah,
work. He seems like got a good mentality, good head on his shoulders still.
right. So to me, this kid has every makings of the next great player in our league.
He does. He
Now,
does.
the hype hasn't been this way since LeBron, but I also think that's kind of like maybe I'm incorrect. I feel like the hype for Zion was real. Like
Yeah.
people were talking about this guy, he's really going to take over the league. Mind you, his first couple games he has, but it's weird. As soon as you have to watch the game to see, this is a quick Zion thought. Like that man doesn't play no defense at all. Like horrible defender, and he
Yeah.
has all the size to be an amazing defender, and he's
Yeah.
horrible on it. So it's
I feel
really
like defense though is more about awareness too, right? You got to be aware of where the ball is and where your man is and
right.
stuff like that, and aware of the switches. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like if you're not aware, you're not going to be a good defender. And it's part of it is being wanting to be aware, right?
Right.
So that's the thought with that.
So and with Wemby, he doesn't really, he's aware. He's aware.
Yeah, he's
He
blocking
knows what
jump shots. He's blocking
he
jump shots.
knows. He knows. And then
Yeah,
that's why like it's like almost once again, like sky's the limit for this guy. Like
yeah,
he's something. Wemby is something that they're right. We haven't seen this before. 7'4", ability to dribble. Of course, he's really long, so he's not gonna be like
yeah. His
Iverson.
hands even look real long too. When he's holding the
Right.
ball, it looks like it's like a volleyball. I
Right.
don't
And it
know.
kind of looks like it would be easy to steal the ball from him. But other than that, like it was his first game against Dallas. He
Yeah,
started going on like an 8-0 run himself to like tie the
9-0,
yeah, like
9-0.
wasn't that he was going crazy and they stopped giving
Yeah,
him the ball. And I'm like,
yeah,
this guy's doing his first game as a
yeah.
rookie.
And Mike, if you were watching the game, right? He went to the bench with 6 points and 5 fouls, right?
Right, right, yes,
Rebounds.
yes,
And I'm like, shoot, he's foul trouble. First game.
yeah,
Comes
yeah,
back on, reels off 9 straight,
right.
right?
He ended up with what, like 20 points? Oh no, 18, I think.
Eight, 18 the first game. I think it was 18 or 16 the first
Yeah.
game you had, right?
Yeah, because similar to the Tim Duncan line. Yeah. And it's just like this guy gave us 16 after being in foul trouble. He didn't
With
get
six
fouled out.
points in the fourth,
Like,
with
and he
like
was,
8 minutes left.
and it was like, and at one point you're watching and thinking to yourself, oh, give him the ball. Give him the ball. He's doing his thing. You
You
can't
have
block his
to.
shot.
You
That's what
have
makes
to.
him so lethal. You cannot block that. You can't block, you couldn't block Dirk. You can't block KD. You definitely
You
can't block
can't block.
Houston.
He's the tallest in the. I think he's kind of like maybe the tallest in the league, maybe a third
Yeah,
or fourth
he's,
guy from
he's
the
the
tallest in
tallest.
the league,
Him and
right?
Bojan.
Right.
Yeah, he's the tallest. And unless Taco Fall comes, then he's the tallest.
And look at how mobile. I just love the mobility. I love how he runs the floor. He's catching lobs from over the 3 point line. This is 7'4" guy. You know what I mean? He's spinning off of you, going baseline reverse dunk, right? 7'4", hitting
He
threes. He's 7'4". He's just hitting threes,
he's so
right?
good, and I think it's always hard for especially rookies to be good defensively already.
Yes.
Like you'll get the
Yes.
rare one, like an Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
Those ones that they're so rare that they come in already being so good at defense, and he's already good at defense. He
Yeah.
is the defensive player of the year candidate soon. He is in a couple years. He's gonna win it. It's just he's gonna he has the ability to block shots like going to his Frenchman, Rudy Gobert, right? He has that ability,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And him being able to shoot the three or shoot any shot, honestly, like a
yeah,
KD,
yeah.
that's special. That's special. Like I give full kudos to Wemby. But yeah, any other closing Wemby thoughts?
Mm. Nah, man. Honestly, he just needs to continue to grow. I love what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? He's playing right now, actually, against the Clippers. So I think the
It
Clippers are slapping the Spurs, though. So I think it's
looks
like a 20
like
point
it
game.
looks
But
like yeah, the 20 point. Let's see what Wemby has. He's 2 of 5, one assist, one rebound, zero personal fouls. At least not fouling anybody.
that's good. That's good.
He's not
Is this what,
fouling.
maybe the second quarter halftime now, maybe?
Yeah, it's at halftime.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist, 1.5 assists. I would like to see the assist numbers go up, if I'm being
Yeah, me
honest.
too. Me too.
Yeah, I want him to be more, have the ability to like, I want him to, pass the ball because that's when you're really lethal when you get that assist number up as well. Because
Yeah.
then people have to be prepared for your passing out the lane or something like that.
Out the double, yeah. I'm wondering who
Right.
on Spurs he can really pass to, but it'll come. He'll make his guys better.
Right.
Shout out to Keldon Johnson.
He's doing his thing. Him and Vassell are actual like players,
Yeah,
legit, like almost guys you kind of want to keep on the squad. I
yeah,
do think they need like not now. Let Victor get to where he needs to get. They probably need a really really good point guard to like
yes.
take them there. But that's probably 3 years down the line for them to
And
figure
mix a
it out.
couple veterans. Mix a couple of
Right,
veterans.
right. And at that
Yeah,
time, it'd be the veterans would be so different. It's gonna be the Paul Georges who are like at the time 16th year. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when the league would be a little different. The last thing is our Raptors corner that we
Shout
must
out,
talk about.
shout out the Raptors.
As Toronto natives, like we talked about at the beginning, they won their first game. So shouts out to them for winning their
Shout
first
out.
game against Minnesota, who were seeing the issues there with Minnesota. And then they lost their last game or their second last game to Chicago. Then they're back to back, they lost to Philly. The Philly one was a scheduled loss. If anyone doesn't know what a scheduled loss is, it's when the percentages that you're going to lose are incredibly high. And that was like a loss. If they beat Chicago, they'd be 10-1 right now. I think Raptors Nation wouldn't be so complaining. It's only 3 games in. But some of the
Thank you.
things,
And then schedule loss. So
it's
really, we should
scheduled,
be 1-1 or
right?
2-1. It's a
Right,
schedule
if
loss.
anything.
You're
That
right.
Chicago one sucks a little bit. I'm not going to front. That one sucks.
Because we were up 10 late in the game, and then thank you, referees. Thanks again. And
Right.
yeah.
The missed. I don't even think. I know some people can say the Boucher one was a foul. I really don't think it's a foul. I swear they're not supposed to be leaning onto the person when
No.
after. So it is what it is. It's a loss. It's a loss.
Because if you're leaning onto a person, how are you able to pivot and move?
Right.
If you pivot and move, you can't move into the person. There has to be able to stand upright. So
Right. Exactly. So yeah. So but the biggest concern in Raptor Nation is Pascal Siakam.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say that too.
And and the reason why it's Pascal Siakam, it's it's honestly because I was into a podcast, which I always do. Samson folks, shout out to him. He's my guy, he's my homie, from Raptors Republic. He had said that I want to read the quote that he said because I actually spoke to him about it after he said it. He said the Raptors, you're asking Pascal to do something he did in 2018. And that just sticks with me. Because you
Mm,
are asking Pascal. Pascal's
mm,
passing the ball so much more. He's not being aggressive. Masai said he didn't want anyone to be selfish. The people are saying, yeah, the Raptors are potentially selfish. I honestly think, and I'm not trying to call this man out, it was probably Fred VanVleet that was the most selfish. Scotty Barnes, first of all, the positive part about Scotty Barnes, he's playing amazing right now.
shout out to
He did a
Scotty B.
triple double. He's been playing really good.
Shout out to Scotty B. I like the confidence he's playing with this year.
So much confidence. You can tell he's gunning for that most improved as well. And that fight, remember I was saying him, if he gets the role, and you can tell and people are saying this, you can tell that this team is really trying to say like Scotty's the guy. They're really trying to transition, and I think that's hard. I always talk about like the Indiana transition. Danny Granger was the guy. People
Was
really don't
that
remember.
guy?
He was the guy. Paul
Wow.
George took it.
That
Right?
was that fall from grace. I can't even say fall from grace, but
He got hurt.
touching on that. That hurt because
Yeah.
Granger was our guy. I
Yeah.
remember about Granger. He was our guy. He was a
He,
gunner.
he was a
A
gunner.
gunner.
And then like
He had good
Granger,
size too.
he just got hurt. So when he got hurt, Paul George just kind of took the reins and said,
Yeah,
I'll just make it my team, which he did it, and he became who he is today.
it was crazy
But a
though.
healthy Danny Granger with a Paul George at the time, that would have been crazy.
That would have been pretty lethal.
Right. Just with
Very
that
lethal.
team.
But
But yeah, with Pascal, he's playing so passive. I need Pascal to be a little bit more aggressive. Because everyone's watching Pascal play, and everyone, when Pascal has the ball and he scores, he's shooting 40% shooting the three right now. 40%.
he's shooting 40 from three.
40% shooting the three. Now the stats are probably a little lower, but let me get the best number out there. But Pascal, if you even look at the overall team's numbers, he's gone down in scoring. OG has gone down in scoring. I know the new offense was supposed to give everyone the ball and ball
Yeah,
movement, ball movement, ball movement. And
yeah.
I can see it. I think everyone's trying really hard to pass the ball. But you know what? Sometimes it's just like offensively, there was never the problem with them offensively is that they couldn't finish in the half court. That's because you finish in the half court where you could shoot the three better. If you have better
100%.
three-point shooters, you'll have a better half court percentage.
Or that guy that can get in the lane and get you a bucket, right?
That's
Like,
it.
for example, Kyrie Irving, for lack of better terms, like a guy like that. Someone that could just get into the paint at will, draw defense, kick, stuff like that.
Exactly. So when you have guys like that, it's better, right? But you don't have that. Pascal really isn't that. If someone was there to help him, it'd be better. So let me give
Of
you the
course, he's
Raptors.
Robin. He's Robin. That's
Pascal,
the thing, man. Yeah,
he is the
Pascal is
Robin.
Robin,
He
right?
really is. He
And
really
we
is.
need a Batman. And can Scotty become a Batman? Because we want Spicy to become Batman, right?
It's just I want so Scotty's averaging 21 points, which is respectable.
Yeah.
About 9 rebounds and about 7 assists. That's good.
What's the shooting percentage?
I'm gonna have to let me see the
You got
shooting
that.
splits.
Scotty's playing a lot better, man.
I have it. So he's 56% and he's 36% shooting the three. Yeah, Pascal's 40% shooting the three. He's
That's
40%.
respectable. That's pretty respectable. Not respectable. Let's lights out. 40% is lights out.
And like this is what everyone's having a problem with. So field goal attempts, and this probably hurts because of last game. Scotty has shot the ball 15 times on average. Dennis Schroeder is 14 times. OG's 10 because he played a little bit, so that's kind of like really skewed. Pascal's 13 times, and so is Gary Trent 13 times. If you go last
Really?
season, Pascal was 17, 18 times shot, or close to
Yeah.
20 shot attempts.
I'm
Right?
thinking he should be doing that this year. He should be doing 17, 18 this year too. To
Easily.
me, she's that guy that should be having the most shot attempts on the Raptors right now. He should be,
Always.
right?
Always. So
It's
it
his
does
team right now.
it's him and Scotty. To me, you can pass the ball all you want to whoever you want to pass it. Be as all free willy as you want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead and do that. But as every team wants to pass the ball along. But at the end of the day, to give it right back to Pascal and let him create. Let him create
100%.
offense. Him and
Get
Scotty,
him into his spin cycle and stuff
right.
like this little floater game, this little mid-range game. Screw the analytics. Just let him play his game. That's all. That's all. Don't worry about camping and hitting threes and it gotta be a three or a layup. Like we know Siakam's game is the best from the elbow, free throw line area,
Right.
floater, spin, stuff like that mid-range. We know that's his best game, right? Not on the wing, extended, creating and all that stuff. That's not really him. Get him in the mid, let him create, let him operate. Get him on the low post, get that double coming, kick, corner three, Gary Trent Jr., something like that, right?
Right. That
That's
to
what we
me is passing the ball, but doing what they're doing, and then Pascal's just more watching everyone like shoot the ball. I think Dennis Schroeder has been a good person for this team.
He's been a
Dennis
great
Schroeder,
fit so far. I'm not
he's
gonna lie, he's been a good fit. He's been a great fit.
it's not going to stay this way, but he's shooting 50% shooting the three. The crazy thing, as a team, they're shooting 38% shooting the three. This is a team that was shooting 30% last year. So they're shooting close to 40%. And Otto Porter
As a
hasn't.
team is lights out still.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
And
And
but
will that
take that
stay
in
the
this with
same?
2 losses though. So where do you think we're going wrong? What's the problem right now with the two
I
losses?
think the Chicago Bulls one, once again, it's 3 games. If we won the Chicago Bulls one, we wouldn't be talking so much
Which is
about it, right? So it's such a
true.
like tomorrow they face Portland tomorrow, who just got
Yeah,
their asses whooped by Philadelphia. So more than likely, Pascal and Scotty are probably gonna score 20 plus points, right? But what I don't want to see, I don't want to see Dennis Schroeder shooting 14 times. Yeah, that's one more than Pascal, but it's one more too much.
I
Like
hear you.
it's one more too much,
I
right?
hear you. I hear you.
Pascal, and everyone sees it. Pascal, and you're right, he's a second option in most cases, he's a second option, but he's your best option,
I like that's a good quote. Very
right?
good quote. That's a very
He,
good quote.
he's he's the second, he's your best option.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
because
a
he's
very
your
good quote.
best option,
Yeah.
do what you need to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
100%.
Give him the ball, like you said, low post. They double him. He can have Gary on this end, Scotty, who can just run down the middle, and Scotty's still more powerful than most guys on this league. And then
Yeah.
you have him. Grady Dick did a pretty good job. If we can see that consistently from Grady Dick, he's
Shout out
getting
to Grady
he's
Dick.
getting minutes. Chris Boucher, who at times could be an above 3-point shooter. You still have OG, who may be hurt, but hopefully he's not. But you have potential around him. You have potential around him. So, and the thing is, you can do the same thing with Scotty Barnes. They can both operate at the same time. They can both operate at the same time.
Mhm.
So I just don't believe that Pascal should be treated this way. If I'm being honest, I think Pascal he has to shoot 18 times a game. He has to because we
100%.
should live by it.
100%. I agree with that 100%.
Like win or lose, him and Scotty, 18 points a game, 18 shots a game. I do
100.
agree. Gary can shoot as much as he wants to because he's the best pure like scorer. He can score at like any
Best
all
pure
three
shooter.
levels.
He's to me, he's the best. He's the gunner on the team. He's like the guy
Right,
that's he gets the ball from three. There's no closeout. It goes up. You're
right,
the other team is like, yeah, that's
right,
Gary Trent. And every team needs a guy that, and we have that in Gary Trent, which is what we need.
right. Well,
Right.
he's not a 3-level scorer, but he's a 2-level scorer for sure.
100%.
He doesn't have the
100%.
post game, but he's a 2-level scorer. But the 2 levels is pretty good. He
It's
can hit the
very
midi
good.
and he can shoot the three. So, and him and Pascal have always played well together through the history of time. Those two guys have always played well. I think the one thing Darko needs to do is bring that Nick Nurse offense a little bit back. As much as we want the ball movement, we don't want selfishness. When you have a guy like Pascal, the numbers have proven it. He's an all-NBA player. Don't do that. He's 24/7.
So, where is Darko's coaching background from? Is it somewhere? I'm assuming, obviously, somewhere in Europe, right?
He's mainly Europe, but he was in OKC for years. He did develop a lot of guys in OKC.
Developed.
And he did
Okay.
develop a lot of guys. He's one of the people who I think Bane from the Grizzlies, they played for the Grizzlies as well, would credit Darko for what he's done. He's really good motivator. The first game he was yelling that and I think they were all loving it. The team loves him. I like Darko a lot. I think he's
Yeah.
definitely a motivator. He's not like a Nick Nurse. He's not going to
No. He's
discredit.
not gonna sell you out in the media like that, man. He's not
uh,
gonna talk to you like that in the media. Yeah.
right, like he's there. There was the video in one of the Raptor games where Pascal came to me and said, "Hey, we want you to score, man. Keep doing your thing. Like miss or not, you want to score." So I think Pascal is trying really hard to do what's best for the team,
Yeah. I
and
could. Yeah.
and
You
then
could tell.
everyone's saying like, "Don't be selfish, don't be selfish." I'm telling you, Pascal, be selfish.
That. Me too. Me too.
Be selfish. It's okay.
Me too.
The team needs a little bit more selfishness because I think the team's actually good. We're deeper. People like to trash on Malachi Flynn. He's probably not the best backup point guard, but I think he's okay for right now. And just be patient.
Thing is, Malachi Flynn now he has a role. Like he's guaranteed a certain amount of minutes, not like in his previous season. So he should be playing with more confidence this season. So it's early. We'll see after like 15 games. Revisit the Malachi Flynn, see how he's doing.
I think what you said is perfect. Give it 15 games with Malachi, especially. Why after 3 games we're like, oh, bench him, don't play him again? This is exactly what it felt like in with Nick Nurse.
Yeah,
Confidence is so key in basketball. As like, you're a person who's played a lot of basketball. I played some basketball, but confidence is everything.
Yeah.
I think every NBA player can score 25 points a game. If you tell them they're the number one guy, they will score 25 points a game. Because
And you
your
give them the green
mentality
light,
changes. Your brain changes. I think obviously wouldn't be great at it, but if someone put us on the NBA team right now, right, and told us you're the number one guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all those are Joes. They're big belly bobs. They can't score the game. You're gonna score 25 points a game, okay? You're gonna make it work. You're gonna try your whatever.
You have to. You're
You
gonna
have to
definitely get better quickly. You're gonna get
quickly,
better quickly.
quickly.
That's all I could say.
So then to me, that just makes sense. I think with Malachi, you're right. Give him 15, at least 15, 20 games. Let him do his thing. Like as we talk about his stats, I don't think his stats are too crazy. His shooting threes, it's too early. Too early. Percentage is way too high. It's way too high.
It's too early. Too early.
It's too early to judge, which I think is what it's our overall statement overall with everything. Any closing thoughts before we end this podcast, Young Skull? Anything you want to get out of your chest?
Anything I want to get? Let me see. Other than I just want to see Raptors go on a little bit of a winning streak, man. To be honest, to shut the critics up. I'm not even saying crazy when shooting up 5 or 6 games. Just want a little 4 game, 3, 4 game. You know what I mean? Just get a little bit of separation right now, right? And just I want to see more from OG, right? I definitely want to see the attempts for Siakam go up, shot attempts, right? I definitely want to see that, and yeah, I care about the Raptors only. Everyone else is whatever. You know what I mean? When it comes to the league, like you know what I mean. My main focus, our main focus, is how well the Raptors do.
100%. Like I love the league as a whole, but ultimately the crazy thing is like even if it was imagine if we traded Siakam, traded OG, and we were tanking, we still want to win games. Like our brain is not going to be wired to be like, yeah, we lost again. Cooper Flag is coming. Cooper, no, we want to win. Like
we want to win. Doesn't matter who's on the team, and it's a team thing. It's not which players on the team. It's a Raptor. It's a Raptor thing.
Right. So it's one of those things. Yeah. The only thing, if I have to go non-Raptor, well, because they're all Raptor ones, I agree with you. Give it to Pascal. OG, they say he could be hurt because of groin, but I don't know how bad a groin can be. Like I don't know. But hopefully,
runs can be. It can
it's
going to affect your explosiveness, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. But if you're telling me that being hurt is defense, but OG's all defense type of player, so that should be good. The thing is, I think Toronto defensively has been good. Hurdle's been kind of. So if I could pick anyone, I'd like to see Pascal score more and Jakob Hurdle to be. I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit off recently. I'm hoping he kind of get his mojo back. Kind of got some foul trouble last game. Just needs mojo back a little bit more. From the league, honestly, Daryl Morey, trade Harden. That's it. Trade Harden.
I agree with that. I agree. I trade Harden right now. Do not delay.
Stop this. Like, if it's Chicago, trade him to Chicago. Whatever you want to do, just trade the man. And before we go, let me just check an Anthony Davis stat line. I want to see what he's done.
Oh boy.
For some reason, my phone is being slow, and I really want to check an Anthony Davis stat line just before, because I'm hoping I see something. He's facing the Kings today. That's a bonus. Come on. When it comes to facing top centers, I'm expecting them to be better.
Yeah.
Right? I'm expecting him to do something. The Lakers are losing 55-66 as we're speaking. No, now 61-68, but obviously that changes. Okay, Anthony Davis has 17 points and 8 rebounds. And okay, that's the stat line. But once again, him scoring doesn't mean anything because I think the best version of him is not that. Making everyone else better is there. But yeah, that was our weekly NBA podcast. Catch us again next week where we'll talk about another week in basketball. We'll see. Maybe there'll be a trade, maybe not. Probably not. This is Harden's never getting traded. Shout out to my boy YS Young Skulls. You have a great one, Skulls. We'll make sure the Raptors win. Any planning shots, any shots you want to give out there? Anything you want to say before we end this?
Man, I gotta say it's a pleasure being on the podcast. Those guys' podcasts, you already know. That's all I gotta say. Go Raptors, go! right? Let's get it. Let's get it. 3 straight. We're looking at 3 straight at least. Let's get
At
it.
least 3 straight. It's possible. It's possible. Okay, like and subscribe. Shout out to the people who've subscribed recently. We've jumped up like 10. So I'm gonna start really trying to push more. I love when people watch us. I love it. Thank you guys so much. And we'll talk again soon. Peace.
All right.